Now, Sadtu says the 1st of June is way too early for schools to reopen. It says its survey shows that at least 7 provinces are not ready to resume learning. The union says no teacher should return to the classroom if precautionary measures are not in place. Now, grade 7 and 12 pupils will return to school next month in a phased approach. But for more reaction, we're now joined by Xolani Fakude from Sadtu. Xolani, thank you so much for your time and a very warm good morning to you. Now, yesterday when we heard from the minister as well as the deputy minister, they constantly reassured that come 1st June, grade 7s and matriculants would, of course, find schools ready, not just the pupils, I understand, but also the teachers and school staff members would make sure that schools are ready for them to be phased in. Do you agree with this? Are you convinced at all that the 1st June is the date to reopen?
Well, absolutely not, Tumelo. First, let me greet you and let me greet the viewers as well. We noted the minister's proposed plan with a lot of caution and a lot of skepticism. And that is because, Tumelo, we are dealing here with a Department of Basic Education that has got a less than impressive record in terms of delivery. So we hear now that there are commitments with a particular, in quotes, in-time approach or on-time approach to delivering the basics that are required for the schools to reopen. But then we are saying that we must face the reality that for the past 26 years, for instance, we have had schools that still require basic sanitation infrastructure, almost 3,400 of those. And then again, what we did, Tumelo, as a union, or rather as teacher unions, not just Sadtu, is that we conducted a survey amongst our members who are principals. No less than 9,000 of them responded, which means we are looking at roughly plus minus 40% of the entire population of schooling communities. And overwhelmingly, they are all saying that it's just not feasible. They are just not ready. The system is far from being ready. In fact, even shockingly, about 80% of them had not even, at this stage, as of the 18th of May, had not even had a single word from the circuit managers, etc. They've not even had meetings with SGBs to sit down and look into the kind of safety measures. So we are saying that the 1st of June is once again very symptomatic of what we call a top-down approach, a by hook or crook approach that says that we must just have the 2020 academic year irrespective of the cost that may be attached.
Well, you're saying this decision is, of course, revealing a top-down approach. You're also further saying that the decision to open from the 1st of June is rushed by the Department of Basic Education. Why do you think the minister or even the department felt the need to rush to at least phasing grade 7s and matriculants?
Well, again, it is about the hook or crook, ticking of the box. That is what we are saying. And we are calling for a collaborative approach. We are saying, that it cannot be that it is all just about completing an academic year, even if it is at the cost of life. What we know is that the pandemic or that the virus seems to be evolving quite rapidly. That is what even science is telling us. Therefore, what is critical for us is that the data that we use to make the kind of decisions that we need to make as well in terms of reopening of schools are based on the hard data, the real data on the ground. So we are also calling for transparency. We are saying there must be consultation, there must be transparency. The minister must be able to tell us that she is basing her decisions on primarily on what evidence, because unions are saying we've got a evidence to the contrary. We've got a shocking baseline indications right now from our principals who are saying that they are just simply not ready and far from it right now.
So the date, Xolani, is set in stone. 1st June, the minister has announced, at least last night, that grade 7s and matriculants would be coming through, even teachers going back to school earlier on, of course, to prepare for the rest of the schooling year. What happens now? Sadtu has 10 days, of course, to prepare its teachers. What plans do you have?
Well, what we are going to do is that we are going to closely monitor the situation on the ground. And we are saying as a union that we will ensure that the safety measures, the health and safety of our learners and of our educators carry the priority that they deserve. So we're going to continue monitoring the situation on the ground, and we're going to advise our members as well timelessly. But then we've got a responsibility to, as a union, to say that if the conditions on the ground are not safe, and they cannot guarantee that there will be a safe working environment and a safe learning environment for our learners, then we've got every right to advise our members that they should not avail themselves for shooting.
So you're saying that your members should not avail themselves to going back to school should, of course, precautions not be made at school?
Absolutely, and we're not going to be apologetic about that, Tumelo. We are saying that the minister of the minister of the department must simply comply by what her department has set itself. She came, addressed the nation, and there were some conditions that she said we are going to do all of this before schools can reopen. That was the principle, and we're saying, all and well, Minister, we are going to monitor and ensure that that happens, and only then will we, with a clear conscience, be in a position to tell our members and to advise our learners to go back to the class.
What then do you say to teachers who are raising concerns on social media as well, Xolani, that should they decide to take that decision, not going back to school and resuming with the academic year, that they might lose their jobs? What do you say about those concerns being raised by teachers?
Well, this becomes then an issue that must then be discussed at a relevant collective bargaining chambers. What we are saying is that we know that in this country there are laws, there are regulations that even govern how we relate with our employer, and those must be put in place, and we are going to ensure as well that those are not violated. So we are saying to Melo that corpses cannot teach, and corpses cannot teach corpses as well. So all that we are saying is that it must be the health and safety of our learners and teachers first before everything else will follow, and we will continue to monitor the situation on the ground. We are very clear on that one. We will hold the minister accountable.
Well, thank you so much for bringing clarity and having this conversation with me. That's Xolani Fakude, Sadtu Secretariat Officer.